Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your amphibious Gillman monster services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, do forgive the lack of background stuff. I've got some fishy heads over here, and I've got some scuba diving Richard Dreyfuss over here. And if you look closely, there is the Gillman from The Creature from the Black Lagoon, the classic movie from the 50s, which this movie is massively inspired by. Monster Island. Now, I covered this a good 9 months, maybe 10 months ago, when it was called by its original title, its Singaporean title, Orang-Ikan. Orang-Ikan means fish man. The Creature from the Black Lagoon was the gill man. So we know where we are with this. It's an amphibious, flesh-ripping monster. It can live on the land and live in the sea and cause absolute bedlam in between. Now this film it's got so many producers you wouldn't believe, and so many production and distribution companies, including the great Tygon Pictures. God, so many, Witchfinder General and the Blood Beast Terror, and so many more, which I can't recall right now because I didn't write them all down. But we know that it's a great British horror alumni, like Hammer, like Amicus, which is American crossbreed, but you know, so many others as well. And this film, under the title of Orang-Ikan, was touted around as being this big amphibious World War II period set horror creature feature. And I did a video, as I say, many months ago, and I was way looking forward to this. I thought, like, the production art looks amazing, and wow, it's a guy in a creature suit, which is great. That harks back to literally, you know, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and obviously Roger Corman's Humanoid from the Deep, which again this sort of harks back to. So I'm like, wow, and it's period set. It's the Defiant Ones. It's held in the Pacific. It's two mismatched people on a deserted island who've got to fight against the environment and something else, and learn to get over their differences and become as one, conjoined, and become a team to overthrow all the adversities that they're faced with. And that's the idea behind this. Now, this movie is now called horribly Monster Island. Oh dear God, where did it all go wrong? I mean, Orang-Ikan, okay, was never gonna, you know, pique anyone's interest. Like, what the hell is that meant to be? But I get it. I get why they changed it. But Monster Island is such a generic, rather really pathetic, sort of stupid title. But there you go. Monster Island it is. So we're in World War II. In differing sort of versions, because I've seen two versions of this. And one, it says 1942, and one says 1944. And it's 1944 is the one it's meant to be, as far as I'm concerned. And you have a Japanese hell ship. A hell ship! This is a ship transporting POWs, Allied POWs, to work camps, building bridges, doing forced marches, being slave labour. And they're being, you know, it's literally ferried off to hell. And but on that ship, this is the start of the movie, on that ship you have tons of Allied POWs and a Japanese POW on a Japanese ship. What's his story? Why is he incarcerated? Why does he get chained by, you know, leg to leg, a good sort of 6 foot length of chain between them, giving them lots of options, of course. They get chained together. What's this guy's story? His name is Sato, and the British guy is called Bronson. Let's get the names out there. Dean Fujioka plays Sato, and Callum Woodhouse plays Bronson. Bronson, you know. And they get chained together. And in that chaining together, Allied subs fire 2 torpedoes into their side, chief. And boo-boof, you know, that ship's going to go down. So in a really confused and massively jumbled, really badly edited fight sequence, Sato and Bronson to join together, who don't know each other at all and despise each other, different cultures. I'm an ally from the UK and Europe, and you're a Japanese South Pacific bastard. You're the enemy. And in the ship going down, they manage to overthrow their captors and get themselves out onto the decks in a very confused, horrible sequence, to be honest. And the ship blows up, and these get blown overboard, and they arrive on a tropical, deserted island. A mysterious, deserted island. But is it deserted, though? They wake on the beach, and they have a fight together because, what the hell am I doing here? Who are you? And oh my God, what's... They scrap, they battle, they put fists, and fucking headbutt goes in there. And then our boy, Bronson boy, British lad, whose uniform I did not recognise at all. He has the most bizarre stripes on his arms, which I'm sorry, if you can hear popping, it's our cat, Wednesday the Wonder Cat, is now playing around with bubble wrap. And popping bubble wrap and now going to make a mischief of herself. But we'll carry on regardless. They have a big fisticuffs and headbutt sort of fight, and then realise, look, shit, we've got to work together. Oh, I missed a bit out, because during that fight, something rises in the surf behind British lad, and he gets dragged into the surf, and they've got a gun with one bullet, and our lad the Japanese lad fires a bullet. I may have got this wrong. I'll tell you right now, I watched this late last night after a lot of drinky poos, so it may be clouded, but I'm going to give you the gist. I'm not going to go too far into this, but he saves British lad from some beastie which we haven't seen, although we've seen a sort of like octopulia sort of vision, and like that horribly overused sort of like sound effect for an amphibian beast, an alien beast, a weird clicky sort of creature, and you get that. And so the Japanese guy saves him from the beastie, and the two of them will then forge an alliance. They'll learn to cook together, they'll learn to we've got to get rid of these chains, and they will work through that, a way of doing it, because other things arrive from the wreckage of the Japanese warship. So they find all bits of metal and rations and stuff, to help themselves, and they manage to break the bonds. But the two of them, right, we've got to work together. We've got a language barrier, but we'll work around that. So most of it's told via, English lad Bronson, played by again Callum Woodhouse, and the film doesn't rely on dialogue at all, to be honest. It's mostly played just in action sort of stuff, and just when they're cooking crabs and all that, and British lad can't really work out how to eat crabs, and more Japanese arrive with a captive fisherman. Very strange. I'm not sure where they came from. Are they meant to have come from the sinking ship? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really care. But these guys arrive, and Sato, the Japanese guy, says to like Bronson, like, oh, fucking go and hide. I'll get over this, and like we'll be all right. Just go and hide, because now they're busy mates. They've only met 5 minutes ago, and like they're fucking busy mates now already. So these guys come around, and they go, and they're kind of nasty towards this native fisherman and Indonesian fisherman, and so. Sato's like trying to say, well, you know what, I've got washed up here from the wreck and all that, blah blah blah, and they say, hang on, that's Allied uniform there, because obviously our boy's taken off his tunic, and I think that's Allies, that's British. No, you are. Hang on, you're prisoner of war, and this fucking Japanese twat has got a katana. He's gonna like fucking do him in. And the creature from the Indonesian seas makes an appearance and attacks them. And basically, you've got Bronson watching from a distance, and you've got like this beast comes in and takes out the two Japanese officers, rips the head off one, rips the heart out of another one. I should say that Bronson gets involved. He's found a big knife. So he's actually runs in to save Sato, the Japanese guy, his mate. He runs in to save him and stabs this Japanese bastard right in the neck, and he staggers off. And the beast, the amphibious monster, gets him and tears his heart out, and I don't know, does something else. I'm not too sure. But you've got head rippings and heart tearings and other stuff, and the fisherman gets killed as well. And then our two guys have to like, shit, there is something out there which is really bad, and we were loving our roasted crab before, but now we've got this motherfucker to contend with, and it's coming after us. Oh no! And then these two guys will go on like do you remember Michael Bay's Lone Survivor? One of my favourite real life action movies of modern warfare. SEALs in Afghanistan get caught, surrounded by Taliban on a mountainside. It's the true story of Marcus Luttrell. And you've got Marky Mark, you've got Ben Foster, you've got Taylor Keach, and some other guy. And it's a brilliant movie. Do not get me wrong. I love this movie. And they have two horrible descents from an almost vertical cliff like that, and they tumble down and they hit trees on their way down, rocks, they skid through all sorts of stuff, they get ripped apart, their bones are broken, and they have to fight again, wounded. And this is true as well. In fact, the true story is even worse than what you see in the movie. And then they get another epic fall, hitting trees, and oh god, teeth are flying everywhere. It's bone crunching, and it's like one of those scenes where you just go, oh my god, this is incredible, and like, it hurts watching it. You're rolling, and you're like, oh, you feel every impact. It's brilliant. Well, they do it in this movie as well, because these two guys trying to evade the what's it called again? The Orang-Ikan, the fish man. They tumble down a cliffside and go through, hitting trees and rolling over and hitting logs and hitting rocks, and you get all that, and they get separated, and then they have a little I don't know, 10-minute odyssey where they're both going in different ways and learning. Hang on, there's a fighter plane which has crashed here, and there's the pilot's ejected, and he's hanging in a tree. He's dead, but there's his pistol, and he's fired a shot, and it's killed another one of these amphibious gillman bastards, another Orang-Ikans. So Sato realizes, look, hang on. This is now protecting its environment. It's lost its mate. Its mate's been killed here. And that's why the island belongs to this creature. And we're here, so it's coming for us. We don't belong here at all. Fair dues, you know. And so I've got to find, me British mate. And he does. They find this beautifully sepulchral cave, very Creature from that Lagoon sort of style. And he finds him, and they also find another crashed plane, if I remember rightly, and a bomb. There's a bomb there, an unexploded bomb. And they find a fetus of the Orang-Ikan. A fetus is growing there, sort of like a spiderweb thing in the the undergrowth. And they realise, look, shit, this thing is protecting its property, its family. Fair fucking dues, as I say, And but it comes for him again, and so they've both been wounded badly, and it comes to this big sort of semi-conclusion where Bronson is like, look, I'm fucked, because he gets impaled or stabbed or whatever happens to him. Like, I can detonate this bomb and I can kill the creature, and I'll do that for you. Yeah. And it doesn't go off. It doesn't happen at the right time. And in the end, using the crashed aviator's pistol, the Japanese guy kills the fucking fetus, shoots through the fetus, which distracts clearly the female of the species is more deadlier than the male. And it then goes for him again, and they go, oh, me male mate's dead because of you fuckers, and then you kill me baby as well. You can understand why this thing's really fucking absolutely outraged at these bastards being there. So it goes after him, and finally you do get an explosion, but it doesn't kill the Orang-Ikan. So there's I think Sato, the Japanese guy, I think if I remember rightly, he uses one of the bodies of the ones that he killed beforehand as a decoy, and he sort of lies in wait. He's taken the katana from the Japanese officer which came ashore. I was going to execute him, by the way. Should have said that. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Who cares? And he comes out the ground, as I was fighting the Orang-Ikan, and he's about to fucking destroy it, and he doesn't do it at the end. He's like, no, I can't, because I've realised you're just protecting your territory. Our intervention, our wild war has destroyed the fabric of your existence. You've lost, your mate, and I've killed your baby, and shit, we're in the wrong. You're just an ecological, environmental beastie, and we're the ones who fucked it all up for you. So he doesn't kill the Orang-Ikan, and it lets him go, and then he gets rescued, and by a passing American ship, which happens to have Japanese, or probably other prisoners as well, who are now working for them as interpreters. And then you learn why Sato was chained up in the first place. He had killed his commanding officer for apparently sacrificing, a mission which was going to sacrifice many men's lives, and his moral compass wouldn't allow that to happen, so he killed him. So, but the thing is, everyone else, incarcerates him as a traitor. So That's why he's been chained up alongside Bronson. Bronson's dead, and at the end of the movie, you get this sort of epitaph where he says, like, well, anyone else on the island? The American captain, interpreted by the Japanese. Anyone else on the island? And he's like, no, there's no one there, because he's letting the Orang-Ikan live again. That's the film, folks. Didn't that sound really enthralling? Right, now, I've gone through it, because that's it. It's 83 minutes long. It's a really short, sharp, nasty creature feature shock fest, which makes it sound brilliant. And I love creature features. I love to see no CGI. A guy in a creature suit. Creature like Lagoon. Humans from the Deep. Oh my god. What else? Enemy Mine. Louis Gossett Jr. in a Kilt-Man sort of suit as well. All terrific stuff. And the costume is amazing. The guy that plays him is Alan Maxon. Plays the Orang-Ikan. And Orang-Ikan. So he's playing the female one mostly, because you don't realise that till the end. And the costume is amazing. It's bloody good. It's clearly a man in a costume, but that breaks that sort of the CGI bubble where it can do anything. It can leap around and he's got, I'm not asked. The fact it's a man in a costume means it's a physicality there, which genuinely comes across and works in its fisticuffs and fights and running through the jungle and suddenly, that kind of stuff. Like, it works, and it's got spines and all sorts. I've put like a few sort of fishy things around it. You probably can't see it in the dark and the gloom, but I have. And I like the costume. It's the shape of water. It's Abe Sapien. You've seen it before. The Monster of Pedro Blancas, which is a film which, if you watch that movie, its publicity artwork has this Kilt-Man thing on a rock in a Californian outcrop on the beach, holding a bloody severed head. That's the one scene that actually works. It looks great with big fucking bizarre fangs, and yet the film itself is really, really boring. And I'm afraid Monster Island, despite incredible photography done by Asap Kalila, is brilliant. It's extraordinarily good. The colours, the compositions, just the formatting of everything. Characters in the foreground with big lush jungles, people going through the jungles, falling down rivers, getting rolled up into like riverines and hitting logs and things. It looks genuinely incredible, really exciting, really pulsatingly great to look at. But for an 83-minute movie, oh my god, it's a slog to get through. How can that be? How can that be? It's written and directed by Mike Wiluan. Who's Singaporean, and it's literally it's a Singapore Film Commission movie. But the list of film producers and distributors is as long as, My Johnson. Just about about 20 fucking distributors, including Tygon Movies, as I said before. So, and production values seem pretty good. The island, it's shot in Java, Indonesia, and somewhere else in Indonesia, and the tropical island is a lush paradise. It looks incredible. As I say, it puts you in the island environment. The gore is there, but it's not enough. There's a head tearing. Got the head, and it throws the head. But really, you need more. You need more of a body count. You need more gory stuff. I've seen reviews of this, which when they first came out, and it was going like, oh my god, it's a great creature feature. Oh, it's a man in a costume, and like, wow, it's a hark back, and like, it's gory as hell. Don't get your hopes up on that one. It's not gory as hell. There's a little bit of gore, but not a lot of gore. And the creature is interesting, but it's funny how you don't get to know, you don't understand what the hell the creature's all about. It's hell in the Pacific. It's two mismatched guys. That's the story. Two mismatched guys during wartime. And they're chained together. They've got to learn to work together, to fight the environment, to fight other adversities, and learn to like trust one another against the greater common adversary. And in that respect, it's pretty good, except for the whole thing takes place over like, the way I can gather it, one day. Just one afternoon, they wake up on the beach. They learn to like, get cigarettes here, like, do you want cigarettes? They've had a fight, then they learn to break the chains and cook crabs, and then you get the Japanese and the two Japanese and the fishermen, and they bring them, and they arrive and they get offed, and then you get the chase, and then the cave, finding the bomb, finding the fetus, and you get that. It's all done within one day, and nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. A nice linear, quite quick, sort of exciting momentum. Except this film has no momentum. None. There's almost zero excitement in this. And I love these movies. The Roger Corman stuff, Humanoids from the Deep, aka Monster in the UK, which is excellent. Tits, gore, fanny, tons of stuff. Like, it's epic stuff. Doug McClure fighting toxic, irradiated, amphibious, flesh-eating, raping bastards from the deep. It's non-stop. This film, ultra short, tries to do a lot of anti-war, or rather expose of war, man's inhumanity to man, incarceration, chaining up of people, and like executions, and you get all that, but do you care? No, not one jot. It's not long enough to give you any sort of insight into the characters. You don't really care, and this comes to a really horrible head where Sato is played by Dean Fujioka. Oh, I said before, didn't I? I said it again. Dean Fujioka plays Sato, and he gets rescued, and he interrogates him, a Japanese guy and an American guy, and he will say, like, look, why were you a prisoner? And he explains that he killed his commanding officer and became a traitor, accused of being a traitor because of it. So you've got that side, and then like, anyone left on the island? No. But in that horrible sequence, and it is horrible, he has a montage of flashbacks to him and Bronson bonding, and cigarettes and other sequences. They only happened literally that fucking day, the day before, and like suddenly, and you get these horrible sort of, and they're not just little short split second flashbacks. They're a good few seconds long, and it's like, okay, we've seen that. Oh, and I've seen that bit. Oh, and that's a recap, and oh yeah, oh my god, And he says, no, I can't leave. I can't betray my friend, and I can't betray the what's it called again? Orang-Ikan. You can see why they changed that title. Orang-Ikan is never gonna like fucking bring an audience. It might do in Indonesia and Singapore. It may do, which of course the writer director is from Singapore, so it's done with that kind of money. It's done with that audience in mind. But man, for a film that's, you know, a creature feature with no great real ambitions and runs for 83 minutes, you would think, wouldn't you? Well, it's going to hit the ground running and it's going to be exciting. And the film hits the ground running and then just really sluggishly moves through a chase and an attack and a chase and a nothing and a cave, and like, oh, there's the revelation. Oh, it's protecting its homeland and its family, and we've gone and fucked it all up. And like, there's a lot more scope. This film could have been so much better with an extra 20-30 minutes of other things building up their characters, learning the dialogue differences, having to, you know, get the, you know, the semantics just right. We've now unchained ourselves. Can I still trust you? Can we do this? Let's go and build a shelter over here. Let's go and do this. The budget really comes screaming in. It doesn't look cheap, don't get me wrong, does not look cheap. The cinematography, which is by Asep Khalila again, is outstanding. You know, it looks $1 million. It's just that it's lost. There's a huge amount of story and character development which is not there. It just should have happened, and it isn't there. And I find that a bit of a concern. I want to champion a film like this. I did do when it first got touted. I'll put the link to the video I first did, so you can get the first ideas when it was called Orang-Ikan, which I think I said at the time, they've got to change that. It's not going to work, is it? But Monster Island's even worse. It's such a generic title, Monster Island. Oh God, no. But what it does do, it harks back to Godzilla and the kaiju movies of the 50s and 60s. Monster Island was a huge, where Godzilla and all his mates and fucking Mothra and all that were all, you know, fucking shove the monsters on there. And, you know, mass migration and find somewhere else to put them, shove them onto that island over there. I had to shove that in there, didn't I? Oh, I just had to do it. I just had to do it, didn't I? But so it's a hokey title, and it's not going to win anybody over either. You know, Orang-Ikan wasn't going to work. Monster Island's not going to work. And by the way, it plays on Shudder. I may have said that before. It plays on Shudder, and you know, and it looks. Don't get me wrong. It does look great. The soundtrack, the score is by a guy called Akihito or Akihiko Matsumoto, and it's okay. Ordinarily, I'd be playing it in the background, but A, I couldn't get hold of the soundtrack, and also B, it's not that good. It's okay. It's okay. It's perfunctory. It's massively unmemorable. It's just there in certain scenes and does its bit. It's not like, whoa, great theme, great atmospherics. Nothing. The musicality does not drip menace. It's just there in the background. There you go. But the costume design is by a guy called Alan B. Holt, who did Swamp Thing, the TV show Swamp Thing, not the old movie versions of Swamp Thing, and Frankenfish. He did many other movies as well, and a lot of CSI stuff. a makeup artist, but he designed the creature costume, which Alan Maxon inhabits. But Creature from that Lagoon, this is not. It wants to be that, but with Hell in the Pacific and the Defiant Ones and Enemy Mine all wrapped into one sort of thing, and yet it really doesn't deliver. I want to really be a lot more enthusiastic about it. I love creature features. I love the Kilt-Man, Creature from that Lagoon. I love that. I love all 3 movies of the original trilogy. Creature in 3D is one of the best things I've ever seen in 3D. I've said it many times. I've really, laboured the point about that. Revenge of the Creature is great. You got Clint Eastwood in there, and then you get The Creature Walks Amongst Us, which it's the least of the 3 movies, and yet it has a really terrific poignancy. They doctor him, they massively mess with his genetics and make him more humanoid. So he loses the ability to he's an air breather. He can't live under the sea, and he goes on a rampage. And the finale of that movie is terrific, where he looks out to the sea, Californian coast, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna go back into that, but doing so will kill him. He'll drown. And it's so heartbreaking. Isn't it great how all our most magnificent monsters are tearjerkers too? Because we put ourselves in there massively, asphalt, boots, Frankenstein's monster, Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney's Wolfman. Got so many of the monsters are tragic, and we sympathise with them. And none more so than the creature in The Creature Walks Amongst Us, which is genuinely, it's poignant and really, it's quite heartbreaking. And then you get this, which is it's derived from the entire Black Lagoon saga, a Kilt-Man, The Shape of Water again, which I am not a fan of at all. A nice dreamy, weird fantasy, but it's not what I want. That's just me. This, on paper and from trailer, I thought, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. And the performances of the 2 main guys, Sato and Bronson, fucking hell, Callum Woodhouse and Dean Fujioka, they're pretty intense. They're pretty good. In fact, I would give the acting kudos to Fujioka. Woodhouse is a bit too, I want to be Tom Hardy. I want to swear, I want to do headbutts, I want to be in your face and do an accent, And no, don't get me wrong, he is pretty good, and his sacrifice at the end is interesting. But as I said before, another half hour or more with those 2, and maybe a few more incidents of the beast, the Kilt-Man, the Orang-Ikan, but then maybe having to I don't know, maybe there's other beasts on the island survive, I'm gonna make this shit up now. A saber-tooth zebra happened to be on the island as well. That's Lost, isn't that Lost? But them having to find water, climb up a ravine, climb up a cliff, a tree comes down, them more bonding. They're only together on that island for a day, and then you get this horrifically naff sort of montage of Sato remembering anyone else on the island, and he remembers all the little moments he's had with Bronson. He only met him the night before when they got fucking submarine torpedoed and then fucking down into the water and then break up on the beach fight, and then like, oh shit, well we're stuck together these chains, and like, oh fucking hell. Can you cook crabs? I can cook crabs. Yeah, brilliant. Here's some cigarettes. You want a cigarette? No, I don't smoke. Oh fucking hell. Can you speak English? No. And that's it. That's the sum total of their actual interaction. And then they get the other people arrive, and they get killed, and then you get they get chased and they fall apart in different parts of. Sato goes down a river and Bronson gets stuck on a fucking. You have the big tree which crosses a chasm, and he somehow ends up on that. They've tumbled down lone survivor style. Bang, 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 bang. And Sato's gone the river and gone downstream, and Bronson's ended up somehow or other off this fucking. Unless I missed something, he's on the middle of like one of them fallen trees, which has gone across a ravine, a river. King Kong, of course. Predator, of course. And he's like, oh, he's injured, but it's like, but they're separated. So they've only had that moment. Then they will find each other again in the cave of the fetus, and then you'll find the bomb. They've literally had about, I don't know, let's work it out. They get hammered together in chains on the Japanese hell ship. And then Japanese sub, well, in this case, Allied sub slam 2 torpedoes into our side, chief. And over the side they go. Wake up. They're not friends in the melee when they escape. They get on the deck and then go over the side and then wake up on the beach. They're not mates. They fight then. And then, we're fucking stuck together. So what the hell are we going to do? Let's just sit down. Like, there's some food here. There's no food here. Yeah. They find all these canisters and there's all stuff they can crack it open and all that. Like. So, but there's no real spark and sort of development of this relationship. It doesn't come across that way. They both act it well, but it's not there. It's not there in the movie. That why do I care about you? I don't really give a shit about you. And now you're dead, and I've escaped, and I've fought the this fucking amphibious beastie who's actually a female. We now realise this at the end. And, but I'm not. I won't kill you because no, it's your island. It's Sato's story more than anybody else's. Anyway, folks, that's Monster Island. And this creature from that lagoon. I did set up something else as well, if I remember rightly. Although, what the hell's the point now? Well, obviously I didn't set it up because it's not in the playlist. This is Humanoid from the Deep by James Horner for Roger Corman's 1980 amphibious monster opus. I think I've reviewed this movie. I think I have on the channel. I am a big fan of amphibious monster gillman type creatures. Big gilled webbed hands. And in this movie, the humanoids from the deep, who are spawned of toxic waste, they rape aplenty and kill the man. It's pure exploitation. Roger Corman at his absolute best, and Doug McClure is in it. And there's lots of bare boobies and lots of blood and guts and severed heads and stuff. It's great. It's a fucking great movie. It's infinitely better than Monster Island. And I wish I wasn't saying that because I had such high hopes for that movie. It's on Shudder, folks, but if you can, 83 minutes, it's not too much of your time for some great island photography and lovely, gorgeously framed shots, a couple of reasonably good performances, a great creature design, costume. But other than that, it's got zero excitement, zero build-up, absolutely momentum that just sort of stumbles along. You know, like when you're walking barefoot into the sea, and there's all like shale and rocks and stones there, and you're going, oh, you can't walk. You know what I mean. You know, you're like, but I want to get into that lovely azure sea there, but I've got to go through this fucking minefield first. Well, that's how the film feels. It's like, it just doesn't reach any sort of like plateau of like, wow, I'm enjoying this. Now I sit back and enjoy, and I just float. Ooh, this is interesting, you know. No, it doesn't do that. So, I was going to do the score out of 10. Oh, why did I do that? You folks know I hate scores out of 10. Having spent many years reviewing on different forums and different sites, and you had to give a score out of 10. And I did it for newspapers as well. And you had to give like a score out of, in some cases it was 5, in some cases it was 10. Oh my God. So say out of 10, I'd give this, well, 5. 5? Oh, is 5 bad? 5's not bad. 5's straight down the middle. It's middle of the road. It's not excellent. It's not even great. It's middling. It's okay. It's not shit, you know, but it's just middle of the road. It's a time killer, a time waster, but not too much time. But there's the thing, folks, 83 minutes, and yet it feels longer. How can that be? A fucking super short movie. And I'm now at the point in life where I want films to go back to the 90-minute sort of runtime. Oh God, since the the late 80s, 90s onwards, we've had epics of fucking 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Oh, for God's sake. Everything's just thrown in there. And then on home video, you're going to get, it's extended even more. Don't get me wrong, at home, it can last 24 hours. If I love the movie, I'll take more and more and more. At the flicks, or a new movie coming out, and it's like, it's 3.5 hours. I'm like, fuck off. I really can't be arsed. Like you're gonna do that now, and it's really gonna warrant my attention. It isn't. It's as simple as that. So Monster Island gets, what did I say, 5 out of 10. But I think you can gather it. I'm not selling it too well, am I? Great cinematography, seriously, a nice creature costume, but you don't get to know what the creature is all about, and it's only a sort of a throwaway sort of thing at the end, a twist which really doesn't make a great deal of, there's no gravity to it, a camaraderie which really doesn't go anywhere. When you look at it, it's based on like literally how much time they spent in togetherness throughout that day. Not that much, really. You look at like Hell in the Pacific, they have a lot of time to sort of bond together. The Defiant Ones, which is not the same sort of thing. It's a white guy and a black guy, convicts chained together that go on the run and hate each other, but have to work together to survive. But they're character driven. This film wants to do all that. It wants to be a character driven creature feature, and yet it fails on both counts because it's not long enough, and there's not enough meat on the bones of either aspect of that story. So There you go. And before you all go like, oh, Enemy Mine, I love Enemy Mine. I went to see Enemy Mine when it first came out on the flicks in 586, something like that. Dennis Quaid and oh god, what's his name? Louis Gossett Jr., who are both in Jaws 3. Not a good, sort of like, stepping stone. And Wolfgang Petersen did it, who is a brilliant filmmaker. Troy and oh god, Perfect Storm. I think he's a great filmmaker. But Enemy Mine was, at the time, I knew it, hell in the Pacific, but just set in a futuristic alien landscape. And a guy in a costume, great costume, but dead obvious at the same time. And it really didn't go anywhere. It really didn't float my boat. Great visuals, but you look at it now, it looks really naff. The visuals look really Star Wars, even back in 76, 77, looked far better than what we got a decade later. But you got Brian James there holding, because the Drax, are the Drax, the amphibious sort of reptilian aliens, Darvich, and all that kind of shit, like. But they're hermaphrodites, so they're male and female together, so they give birth, and like Dennis Quaid has to like put up with that, like fucking hell, yeah. That didn't happen. That did not happen in Hell in the Pacific. It doesn't happen in this movie either. It's a nice, interesting slant. But then an alien slave has arrived, which is totally ripped off from Robinson Crusoe on Mars. Very, very much ripped off from that. A great film which I massively love. Byron Haskin directed that. And he holds up the kid, the young Drax kid, Brian James, the great Brian James from Blade Runner, from House 3, from Southern Comfort, from Tango and Cash as well. Like, I was going to quote him there, but you wanker! But there you go. And I was not asked about Enemy Mine. I went to the flicks to see it, only mates at the time, like, and a few of them were like kind of enthralled by it. And I thought, I've seen this shit before, done better. And like, oh well, the alien landscape was interesting to begin with, and now it's become boring as hell. It just didn't work for me in the end. And this movie is exactly that. It looks great. It's a nice set dressing, but once you unwrap that lovely glittering, Christmas present, that bauble, it's just an amphibious, slimy, boring mess. So, see that? I reached around for a drink which wasn't there. God damn it. Folks, anyway, there you go. Monster Island, 5 out of 10. I've given you the ending, so what the fuck? Why'd you bother? Why are you going to bother now? Watch Humanoid from the Deep. Watch Creature from that Lagoon and its 2 sequels. Watch those. Shape of Water, no, don't bother. I wasn't a fan of it at all, to be honest. Watch Hellboy and Ape Sapien. Watch, oh god, what's the other one? There was something else there. Monster Squad. The great Fred Decker Monster Squad from the 80s. Yeah, some of you had your Lost Boys, but some of us had Monster Squad. And Wolfman's got nods. Oh, I don't want to celebrate that fucking knobhead's channel. But anyway, there you go. Oh, listen to Sour Grapes there. No, he's great, but he's very, very limited. Stalk and Slash, Halloween. And then we did last summer, Scream. Oh god. Anyway, but yeah, Monster Squad, actually had a great Gill-Man in there. Great design. A great movie as well. Very funny. Great score. Amazing score. Very symphonic, very bombastic. Great eerie stuff as well. And it just works so well. A great Wolfman as well. Great Wolfman costume. So anyway, there you go. That's a massively rambling take on Monster Island. I can guarantee you nobody else on YouTube has given this movie anywhere near the amount that I've just given it right now. So, what's your name again? Mike Williwan. Mike Williwan, Singaporean movie maker. Aspirations tremendous. Great sort of foundations that you've built upon, but denouement massively lacking. You know, it's constantly building, and then you go, oh, it looks amazing, but each set piece is really lackluster. Your set pieces should build on the previous one, be more tension rife, more suspense ridden, and just more exciting to watch, and build up to something. And this just builds and then falls, and that's even with the monster making an appearance. For an 83-minute long movie, it's a slog. So there you go. Right, folks, happy that we shall be Kilt-Man. So please, in the meantime, if ever, like, express yourself when you get, you know, blown out of a Japanese hell ship and wash up on some deserted, hellish, not quite so deserted island in between time. Please keep it Kilty, keep it Kilty. I'm going to see you all. Orang-Ikan, fishman. Actually, if you translate it, it doesn't mean that. It's got lots of different sort of, you know, versions, but orang-utan is like wild man of the woods, something like that. You know, so Orang-Ikan. It's what? How does that work out? It's fishman. Oh, yeah, it's a play on words. I know, something very fishy going on there. Excuse me. Whatevs.